is quite a bit different than any of the tweeters that we just talked about. And the biggest difference is that there's a lot more parts on the Recone kit than there is on the tweeter. The tweeter is pretty much just an aluminum diaphragm and a voice coil, but the Recone for the X has a surround, it's got a cone, it's got a former with a voice coil and dual spiders. There's a lot more on it that needs to be secured, and therefore there's going to be a lot more screws here.
All right, so really cool. This is how you get it when you order it, obviously in a box. You got your spring-loaded terminals, as you see on here, but you also have your 8-gauge inputs as well, that if you want to go ahead and... Is it 8-gauge?
Yep, right. You've got 8-gauge push terminals and 8-gauge screw terminals.
So you go ahead and get your wire in, screw it down, whatever's going to make it easier for you. If you want a more secure connection, which I don't know if you can get more secure than spring-loaded terminals, but if you wanted a more secure connection and screw it in, you're good to go there. These are pretty awesome, guys. The only thing I would tell you guys is to make sure that whatever woofer you have, if it's a 2-ohm woofer, make sure you order the 2-ohm kit. You can mix and match them, the woofer with the kits, with the incorrect kit, but they're gonna rub, you're gonna have problems, and you're just gonna have to order another kit later on anyway, because you end up blowing up, or blowing the spare kit.
Yeah, so remember guys what we were talking about earlier with the ST tweeters and how tight the tolerances are. It's the same thing for the L7X and the soft parts on the X. So tolerances are really, really tight. And what we had done was we optimized the gap around the voice coil for the 1-ohm and the 2-ohm. So there is going to be a difference in that gap between the two different models. So if you tried to take like a 1-ohm subwoofer and put a 2-ohm coil in it, it wouldn't fit. And if you managed to make it fit somehow, then you would get some serious rubbing, or you would have like a big dip or detraction in performance. It's definitely not something that we recommend. We always suggest going with the same impedance
size.
Recone, and yeah, same size. You would. I want to put a 10-inch Recone in a 15-inch driver. But yeah, stick with the same impedance. And if you guys end up buying like a basket secondhand or something and you're not sure what impedance you have, it's stamped on the pull piece inside of the basket. So it should be pretty easy to tell once you get the soft parts out. What I've done so far is I've taken and removed, there are 8 screws that hold this top trim ring in place, and then there are also 8 screws that hold the spider landing in place. So when I get these 8 screws out, and hopefully we're not here all night, I'm pretty slow, but when I get these 8 screws out, then I'll show you guys how that diaphragm slides out of the subwoofer, and then we can put another one in easily. Anyway, I'm on the last screw, so unless something crazy happens here, this should just pop right out.
Well, someone made a comment that makes a lot of sense. Ernie grabbed the tool. Come on and help out, Ernie.
Yeah, I wish Ernie would grab a tool, come help me out up here, but he's sitting back there giggling at me, watching me struggle. So you take this trim ring off the top, and that's what holds the surround in place, and then, see that? And then the whole assembly just slides up, and it looks just like what we've got here for our replacement.
So wait, are we the same resistance voice coil?
Oh, yep. Good question. Yep, we've got 2 1-ohms here.
Are you guys able to see that right there? You're going to see it on the spare kit itself.
So I got to stand up for this part. So I'll show you guys how the shims get used here, and this is kind of interesting. So these are pretty much repurposed acupuncture needles, so they're really sharp, and you don't want to accidentally stab yourself with them, so be careful when you're doing this. But what you're going to do is you're going to take your shim and you're going to insert it through the forced air cooling vents on the back side of the subwoofer, and your shims should come out here in the center of the subwoofer. I don't know if you guys can see that right there.
Oh, it's going to rip the mag or the screen. The screws.
Which way do you want me to turn it? This way? This way? It's up to you, man. The backside. Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. So here's where your shims go in through the forced air cooling vents right here. And you just insert them just like that. And then your shims are going to come out in the center of the subwoofer around the pull piece right here. I'm trying to make it so you guys can see the shims. It's going to be kind of hard. They're very thin and very hard to see. But we're going to have some caltrops in the studio later. Keep knocking these off the table. But anyway, once you get all your shims inserted, then what you need to do is push them to the inside of the pull piece. And your magnetic field is going to hold them to the pull piece. It's pretty neat. But just got to get the last two in here. Bear with me, guys. There, all right. So now I'm going to take and push all of the little shims in to the pull piece and let the magnetic field hold them there. And then when you insert the fresh Recone, it doesn't matter which way you put it in, but you might want to have the logos facing the same direction for consistency. I like to match the stickers on the side with the stickers on the side of the subwoofer. But basically, you're just going to insert it. And I wish we had a better angle to show you guys this, but you're going to make sure that all of your shims go inside of the voice coil and the former, because what they're doing is making sure that the alignment is correct so that you're not going to have any rubbing or anything like that. Okay, there we go. So now that it's in, I'm going to look around the voice coil and make sure that I don't have any shims sticking out. And then I'm going to pull all my shims out. Actually, no, I'm not. I messed up.
You put the screws in first.
Leave your shims in and then put your screws in for the spider landing. So that's my fault, guys. But you're going to have longer screws that go in the spider landing, and then your shorter screws go on top for the top trim ring.